For today's Marvel Strike Force video, we're going to have a look at possibly the worst kept secret since we last found out that Casino actually wears eyeliner. So we'll be talking about two new characters. I imagine most of you will have seen them already. It is STRYFE and of course Mr. Sinister. Now alongside this, there's actually going to be a new tag that will accompany them, and I'm not sure if anyone's actually aware of this. It's called the Marauder tag, and it can actually tie mutant villain characters in together really pretty nice. There could be some nice combinations with the Brotherhood team, but that's what we'll be covering in this video. We'll specifically look at the kit for STRYFE and Mr. Sinister. You can see in the background we've got gameplay of them as well, and then we'll actually talk about some changes coming to Sabretooth and Mystique. So we'll start off with Mr. Sinister first. Just before we do break down the kit here, and you can see there's a fair amount going on with this being an Envoy video. Quick disclaimer as usual, I don't in any way work for Marvel or Fox Next at all, even though I have access to this early information. Now starting off, we've got the traits. So you've got Villain, Global, Mutant, Support, and then you've got Marauders. The Marauders one looks like it could be really powerful. I think if you do a hybrid of Marauders and the Brotherhood, you could get some nice results from that. But the first move, it's basic, which is Psionic Beam. So this one here, you attack and primary target for 300% damage plus 50% damage per non-cloned Marauder ally, so that could be up to an additional 200% there, so you could be looking at 500% damage in time. Now the Marauder tag, I will add, we don't actually have a full team of them yet, so there's still characters that could come, and I'm actually going to talk about that later on. Now also with the basic, you gain an assist from a random cloned ally. That's something we're going to look at in a moment in his kit, and you gain an assist from a random Marauders ally, so that looks to be exceptionally powerful for a basic. 500% damage and up to 2 assists as well. Pretty crazy. The special's called Gene Therapy, so it takes 5 turns to charge in total, and it comes with 2 charges. With this, you clear heal block from the 2 most injured allies and you gain a fence up. You transfer all positive effects from an ally Mystique to this character, and Mystique can get a ton of effects on her depending on who you actually target to copy them. You spread all positive effects from this character to all mutant or cloned allies, and then you heal all allies for 2000 health plus 20% of this character's max health, and you heal all clones for 1500 health and 10% of this character's max health as well. So with this you could add a huge amount of buffs to your characters. Now the ultimate, this is pretty awesome. This is called Clone, and at 6 turns to charge comes with 3 charges. You'll notice these are a bit low, but when we look at his passive it will all tie together. But this here, you summon a clone of the primary target. This could be exceptionally powerful. In the instance of the gameplay you can see here, they actually summon Kingpin, and that means he can then cast his defense up and also his speed up as well. So it looks like you want to summon characters that add buffs rather than ones that would do damage or so on, because you get the flat buff. There's no scaling on that buff in any way, so some really interesting combos you could get there. But with this as well, the clone scales with Mr. Sinister's stats instead of the primary target. The clone gains defense up for 2 turns, so that's hopefully enough time to keep them up to actually fire off their abilities. And then we've got ward defense. Unfortunately again here I'm really not too pleased with seeing this pop up often, but with this, on ward defense, generate 2 ability energy for all Marauders and cloned allies. Now on the plus side, there's a lot going on in his kit outside of the ward defense, so I suppose in that respect it's not too bad. To finish up, we have the passive, which is Mutant Eugenicist. So this one here, on spawn, generate free ability energy for this character if non-cloned. So that will bump up your ultimate, so you can use it turn number 1. This, with the ability energy, I think the reason for it is, let's just say for example if you were to clone a Mr. Sinister, would that mean that when they spawn they could immediately do another clone? So I think that's the reason that if you do spawn a Mr. Sinister, it will take a few turns to actually use the clone, and by that time he'll hopefully be taken down. That's the only reason I can really think the way the ultimate and the pass up are set up this way. But let me know in comments below if you think that's why they are set up this particular way. Also with the passive, on turn, this looks really powerful. Heal 15% of max health, 5% of max health per Marauder ally, so that'll be up to 35% per turn. Apply regeneration to the 2 most injured mutant allies. On Marauder allies' turn, if the character's health is greater than 50%, then redistribute 10% health from this character to that ally. gain 50% focus, Marauder allies gain 50% focus, gain 20% max health, Marauder allies gain 20% max health, and then on war defense, Marauder allies gain 30% max health as well. Now we're going to look at it later on, but Sabretooth has the Marauder tag. Now if you were to put him in a combination team with Magneto as well, you would get extra health from Magneto, and then you're potentially getting extra health from Mr. Sinister as well, and you've got the fact that Sabretooth actually regens his health, so that's something I'm really interested in. So interesting kit there, and it looks like it might break up the Brotherhood a little bit, and that will add more variety, so nice to see, really interesting character. Let's now check out a character that I imagine most of you haven't heard of. I hadn't personally really heard of him myself either, so the character is STRYFE. STRYFE then will be your protector class for the Marauders, and I actually like what they've done with his kit. Recently the characters have been bringing in, they sometimes fill similar roles to other characters, but they put a nice little spin on it, so it is good to see. Now if we look at his tags, it's Villain, Global, Mutant, Protector, and then Marauders. His basic is called Psychic Strike, so with this you attack primary target for 300% damage. If the target has taunt, you gain 1 taunt yourself up to a maximum of 3. You clear taunt from that target, and if Mr. Sinister is an ally, you transfer all positive effects from the primary target to Mr. Sinister. So yeah, really pretty awesome for a basic. The special is Superiority, 4 turns to charge and comes fully charged, so you will be using this turn number 1. So you gain 1 taunt up to a maximum of 3, you gain 3 deflect and bury yourself for 15% of this character's max health, and then you generate 2 ability energy for 2 random Marauder allies as well, so that's simple enough really, that one. The ultimate is called Nullifying Blast. It takes 5 turns to charge and comes with 3 charges, so you'll use it turn number 2. This one here, you apply ability block to primary target and adjacent targets, so if you put them in a Magneto team you could pull everyone together to put it on everyone, and you attack primary and adjacent targets for 420% damage, which is a decent amount. Now the passive is called Grandeur. With this, on spawn you fill 10% speed bar plus 10% speed bar per mutant villain ally, so that'd be nice for getting his taunt up nice and early. On turn, if taunting, you gain 1 deflect up to a maximum of 3. When an allied Mr. Sinister drops below 50% max health, you gain plus 1 taunt up to a maximum of 3, plus you gain barrier for 15% of this character's max health. And then we've got War Defense creeping in again here, but once again it's not too powerful when we look at the rest of his kits. I suppose I'm not really going to worry about it too much, but in War Defense you gain 50% resistance, mutant allies gain 50% resistance, so that could really make it difficult to apply debuffs or strip some buffs from them, and you gain 50% focus, and villain allies gain 50% focus. The fact that applies to all villains could probably bring out quite a few interesting combos in regards to team composition. So the 2 characters we're getting really look interesting. I like what they've done with them. They don't look to be brokenly powerful or anything like that, but their kits definitely do intrigue me, and I think there's going to be a lot of options for team building around them. So hats off to Foxnix with these 2 releases. Now I did mention the Marauder tag would in time be a full team. We only have 4 characters. The other 2 characters are Sabretooth and Mystique, so let's actually check out the changes to their kit. So we'll start off with Mystique, and we've got an update to the basic, the special and the passive. So with the basic, it's just more damage you're doing 20% more damage to the primary target, and then in your bonus attack you're doing 30% additional damage. You then have the special, which is Infiltrate. So with this looks to be really powerful. If Mr. Sinister is an ally, you flip 2 procs on each target attacked, and this is exactly as it was written in the document we were given. Procs is essentially just your buffs, because you can see it actually in action at the moment. That's lined up perfectly the gameplay. You can see she flipped offense up and defense up as well, so yeah, that'll be really powerful and probably worthwhile upgrading the special fully so she goes round all the characters to flip that. The passive is Subterfuge, of course. The change on this one, if we read the old description, on Magneto's turn, Magneto and Mystique extend all buffs by a duration of 1. The new version, On Magneto or Mr. Sinister's turn, Magneto and Mystique extend all buff duration by 1. And then there's a completely new section here which is for ward defense once again. On ward defense, if Mr. Sinister is an ally, 100% chance to assist on allied non-attack actions. So that could be a really powerful one as well, and that will help build up all your buffs that Mr. Sinister in time could actually spread to everyone. So yeah, looks like a nice enough change. Let's check out Sabretooth. For Sabretooth then we have an update to the ultimate and the passive. I put in the full tooltip for the ultimate, the old and new version, so it looks like there's a lot going on, but the only real change here is the fact that if Magneto or Mr. Sinister is an ally, this attack cannot be counter-attacked. Previously it was just if you were teamed up alongside Magneto, so that's the only change to that. Passive sees quite a few new parts added to it that look pretty nice. So the old version, you gain 5% damage per Brotherhood ally. On turn you heal for 15% of the character's max health, and when the character drops below 50% health you would gain death proof. Now the new setup, you gain 5% damage per Brotherhood or Marauder ally. If Mr. Sinister is an ally, you gain 20% crit chance. That could mean a huge amount of damage. Sabretooth can hit pretty hard as it is. On turn, you heal for 15% of this character's max health. When the character drops below 50% health, you gain death proof. But we also have gain 25% chance to assist on non-basic attack abilities, and then gain 25% chance to assist on non-attack abilities per Marauder allies. So you would only need 3 Marauder allies, and then you could actually have that 100% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. So without a doubt there's going to be a lot of interesting combinations brought about, and this is going to mix up the Brotherhood. We are probably going to want to run a hybrid of Brotherhood and Marauders. So yeah, I really like what they've done with these two characters without a doubt. Now just to finish up then, I mentioned the fact that the Marauder team isn't a full one, so I went onto Wiki to find out what characters are classed as Marauders, so who we could maybe see in future. So let's quickly check out that list. So you can see we actually have a ton of names here, so many that I'm not actually going to run through them all. The two that really stand out and they're characters that I do recognise. Firstly, it looks like Gambit was a part of the Marauders team. Not sure if he would come as a Marauder. I think he'd probably come as part of an X-Men release, to be honest, but his name does show up there. And then another character I do know, and this is from Marvel Heroes Omega, is Sunfire. Really interesting character, could look nice in the game, but we already have Pyro, who's another fire-based character, so I'm not sure if there would be an awful lot of overlap there. But that's all in the Marauders. Let me know if you recognise any of them and what ones you would like to see potentially fill in that 5th slot, and let me know what you think of this team. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.